All right, and I think we are live. Welcome everyone. Happy New Year. And today we're talking about Pokemon investing in 2026. But today we have uh is it Epic Mew guy? I thought or we could call you McFly. I know
Yeah,
you
yeah.
as
Epic New
McFly,
Guy
but
McFly works, and
all right. Happy New Year's to you. And oh, and just to let viewers know, I don't know who's going to be joining in this live stream. So we typically are family friendly, but if there's some cursing or just warning you all, that might happen. So you may want to just either mute or not watch. Just I don't know. But just letting y'all know ahead of time. Um, but yeah, welcome to the show, McFly. Hey, we got Mount Killa. Yo, Killa.
Killer, what's
How's
going
it
on?
going?
Long time no see,
Dang.
brother.
I haven't been
McFly, we believe in the McFly.
what? Steven. Driving right now, so I'm gonna be in and out. All good, all good. Thank you for just joining in. We're just talking about um investing, Pokemon investing. But before we get into like what's new with you, McFly, like can you I mean I
Okay.
know what's new, but like
Well, to all my super fans out there, I'm joking. First off, Fada, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure discussing anything Pokemon with you. We definitely have some great, deep, and intriguing thoughts about the Pokemon world, and I'm glad to be here today with you. Um, Personally, I've been a little MIA for a couple months. I had my first son, and he's
ooh,
5 months, 5 months and 2 days. So I've definitely had my hands full, and I thought that maybe I could do a little bit of both. So I've kind of been taking a bit of a back seat for a little bit, but one foot in, one foot out. But that's where I've been, and I'm hoping to launch an exciting challenge soon, but more on that on another day. But other than that, I'll just be living day to day in the baby world and learning how to be the best dad I could possibly be.
yeah, yeah, congratulations again.
Thank you.
And again, thanks for being on here. But yeah, I mean, 5 months in though, right? It goes by really fast, doesn't it?
It really does, and next thing you know, he's going to be running around the house, and it's definitely, yeah, it's definitely something I would have never thought in advance it would be like. So it's been a very, very exciting ride so far.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. All right. Well, I mean, let's talk about 2026. I actually did a recording with B-Boy.
Okay.
We had, oh gosh, I think it was almost a 2-hour conversation, I think. Um I wish would have cut some clips. So we did talk about, Pokemon investing in 2026, but um I'll probably have to like put that video out later because he made some really good points. But we were talking about 2025 before we got into the conversation of 2026 investing. We got into like 2025, like what's leading up to now, right? Like so let's just quickly, we talked about Prismatic, right? When Prismatic came out. And I was telling B-Boy, I was at the airport when you pinged me about it. You said it's on the PC website. And I remember I was able to get, I think like 2 cases at first, and then I got my third case. Because back then it was just like you could get cases no problem at Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get my fourth one, and I couldn't. It blocked me, and I'm like, wait, this is what? Why is it blocking me? And then I went on the site again, and I think I was able to order two more, but not cases, just two individual PCETBs.
Mhm.
And that's where like everything just went bonkers.
Yes,
And
today the music.
you and I were talking. Remember, I think we were either on the phone or we were just talking the whole time, like, what's happening?
Yeah, yeah. I think this is when we realize this is probably the last time you're gonna get a sealed case of PCETBs.
Yeah,
And I dub it the day the music died. I mean, like we were all collecting our PCETB cases, and think Prismatic was the last one, and I was just I felt lucky enough to hold on to one. I think I was able to get two cases, and when it started to rise up, I think I sold the first case pretty quickly just to kind of recoup.
Mm,
But the second case, like I held on for a while, and it just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And I just was like, when is a good time to pull the trigger on this? Should I hold it? Do we, and for those still holding prismatic PC ETB cases today, you made a good solid investment, into the future. But I did let my second one go. I let my second
mhm.
one go. I think when it hit around 1500 $1,500, and I'm like, look, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Prismatic. There's been a lot of things happening with Prismatic. I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit, but with PC ETVs, it's Fada, you know we've talked plenty of times about the importance of what a collector item the PC ETB in general is, and I think it's honestly been um, it's been very interesting to see what's been going on with the PC ETBs.
Mm,
But
yeah,
I feel like I'm going off a tangent there, but just the PC ETB cases of Prismatic. I wish I still held one, but I don't currently hold one. But if you are holding one, good for you, because that is a good solid investment. And I think it's probably when people start talking about that product, probably 5, 10 years from now, I think the one thing they're going to say, people who are around, and myself included, will probably say that's the last PC ETB case that you'll probably own.
yeah. So then I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
we should talk about PC ETBs in a little bit
Yes.
later. But so what else happened in 2025 is like rip and shippers that became really big. I mean, I remember, I mean, rip and ship has been around for a very long time, but for Pokemon though, it was pretty new, I guess, quote unquote new. I mean, there were other rip and shippers around, but it became really big. Like, what was it, 2021,
Mhm.
maybe around there? Then it really blew up. I mean, we're talking about Whatnot, Drip. I think there were some other platforms. I mean,
Yeah.
eBay's even doing it now. So that became really huge. So those folks came into the hobby. Let me see. We have, just people coming out of the woodworks, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Crypto bros and, sneaker heads, right? Coming into the hobby, trying to make a dollar, right?
My
Um,
neighbor went into the hobby. My neighbor was
serious?
like, "Oh, Pokemon cards aren't cool," and now they're dumpster diving to see what they can get out of my trash can. Unfortunately, they're gonna get nothing but empty containers now, because everything in the Pokemon card thing is you know you save your bulk now. You can sell your bulk, and there's a lot of bulk buyers out there. So yeah, my neighbors got into it. He started his first Whatnot stream, I want to say maybe about a month ago, but
Mhm.
that was a couple years into it. It took him a little bit to learn more about the hobby and getting into it at while it was at its all-time high.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, then we have like seal collectors. We have, people fighting, over product, PSA. We have like a mystery, I don't know, gambling going on. Am I missing anything else
I
in
don't know. I mean,
2025?
yeah. I mean, I think you touched on everything. And investing is it's interesting. You say investing but yeah, that's the topic of discussion. But at one point, Pokemon was trending higher than the S&P 500.
Hmm.
So I mean, it became national news. So
That
I
too, yeah.
think it's almost become like a viral infection across anything you think of. I know. I think Deep Pocket Monster, right?
Hmm.
Started doing pack openings for NFL games. So, so yeah. I mean, there's a lot that this industry has touched in the last 2, 3 years alone that I would have never saw coming into this hobby.
Yeah. No, no, that's true. Um, I mean, especially like folks, young folks, girls. They
Yes.
were following, Taylor Swift, getting then they started getting into like football, and then you get Deep Pocket Monster, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ripping packs, and that's on social media, it's great though. I think it's great. I think it's healthy that there's a lot of people coming into, and Ryan just actually mentioned about One Piece, so we'll definitely touch on that. But
I will definitely touch
um
the piece for sure.
yeah, and yeah, I think there's, sentiment. I agree with this. But um I'm sorry, I lost train of thought because I saw
Really
One
good
Piece and
comments,
stuff.
right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm never good at like keeping an eye on comments and stuff, but One Piece is a conversation I do want to bring up. But um I lost my train of thought.
Oh, yeah, no,
What was
yeah. So we were talking about just how much you know how influential
mm,
the Pokemon card TCG, like what it's been touching. We started talking about all the ripper shippers that have come out, everybody who started small businesses, and I
yep,
mean personally, I think it's always great to see brand new entrepreneurs. There's good ones, bad ones, and some in between. And I think that we've seen a lot of that in this hobby. So I don't know if that helps retrigger anything your thought process, Fada. But
yeah, exactly. I think that's the point. What I was saying was it is healthy for the hobby to have all these different folks coming in, and this happened what 2021, 2022, when when people were in the hobby, they left the hobby, um and it was dead for a while. I don't know if you remember, but like after the world kind of opened up, um everybody kind of stopped purchasing Pokemon.
yeah,
And for us, remember, it was like so available. Like I
yeah,
was able to buy cases, no problem. Nobody was, you know, looking at me like, oh, you're buying cases and you suck, because nobody cared. I could go to a store, there's product, nobody was buying it,
yeah,
and I could just, I was just telling the story to B-Boy when Costco had those 151 UPCs,
yeah.
right?
When they
I
were on the
was
shelf, yeah,
I just grabbed like 8. I would go to the register. People would look at me like, "Are you okay?" But they weren't saying like, "Oh, there's a limit," or What are you doing?" They just more concerned that I was buying Pokemon, that much. I would go in, right, and when I would come back, and there was just like a palette of like 151. And I mean, 151 did bring a lot of people back, right?
yeah.
And there was some hype, but it wasn't to the level we are today.
No,
But I could literally come the next day and there's more, 151 UPCs.
I mean
It
it's
was
the
just
same with the
everywhere.
Charizard UPCs. They were discounted. They were. I think people were selling for like 60, $70
Yeah.
at one point. And look at the Charizard UPCs now. I mean, it's insane. I mean, 151. I wish I held on to a lot more of 151 UPCs, but you can't. I guess you can't kind of look at things like that. But it's very interesting to see where all these products are going to go. I think it's safe to say that when you have something sealed, eventually it's going to go up. And I think when you look at sealed in general, it just takes time. You know, it depends if you have that time. It depends what your goals are, what your investing goals are. And I think I'm talking on the tangent there, but yeah, I mean 151 was super available. I mean, a regular ETB going for $400-$500. Like I see that with like I don't know, like X and Y. I see those prices mainly with that. And then when 151 hit that, I knew that we were cooked.
Yep.
If you didn't grab 151, then I mean, you're going to be paying a price now, but it's still a good item to hold. Great item to
Yep.
hold.
No, for sure. And then I do want to talk about sealed products, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to really talk about, now that we kind of covered 2025, going into 2026, is like things that people aren't really talking about. Like,
Yeah.
what does 2026 look like, in Pokemon investing? And I think, and I've mentioned this before, that people look at, okay, just the Pokemon investing itself, but then it is technically is tied to our economy, right?
Mhm,
Because if you look at it, right, if you don't have the money to spend,
mhm.
you're not going to be buying Pokemon, right?
That's true.
So, I do want to talk about what, for me, what I think what 2026 is going to look like. Um, because I think the economy has a lot to do with it. But, let's focus on Pokemon for now.
Right.
We have Ascended Heroes coming out, what, at the end of this month?
I already love the set. It's not even out yet. I love it.
You love the set. Okay.
I love
All right.
it. It's one I think it's one of Pokemon's most ambitious sets since Black and White was pretty ambitious.
Mhm.
I think Black and White is anyway. I will go because we're talking about Ascended Heroes, but okay. So Ascended Heroes, I think it has a lot of great cards in there. And it's from what I hear, it's gonna be a very massive set.
Mhm. Yep.
So
It is pretty massive. I think I don't remember how many cards are in the set. Um, but yeah, it's pretty huge. Um, I I won't say I love it. I do like it.
yeah,
Obviously I'm gonna, buy stuff to rip open, but I don't think I'll be investing in Ascended Heroes like anytime soon, to be honest with you.
yeah. I think right now, I mean, with Ascended Heroes, it's gonna be one of those tough items to get at first, but will probably be available for a while.
Mhm.
Um, I look at the release radar. So as you know, like we still have access to distribution, and when these things come out, they have a street date. The street date comes out. This product comes out on Ascended Heroes comes out on 130. But the
Mhm.
only thing we're getting is tech sticker
Right.
collections. So what Pokemon is doing by staggering the releases of these products is Ascended Heroes comes out 130, but you won't get an ETB until February. You won't get a booster bundle until March. You won't get, other parts of, those products until probably from 130 to probably about June. So what happens is, allocations is already small as it is, right? Because there's so many people still in the hobby, whether we want to accept it or not. There's still a lot of ripper shippers. People are still going live. People are still ripping them. Some people are still, um the buyers are still there. It's just, and the sellers are still there. It's just the product availability, I think, is going to be very scarce at
Yeah.
first, but I think it will be widely available as other new sets come out. Um, you know, a mid to later 2026. So yeah, I agree with you. I do love the set. I think it has a lot of great cards in it. Some people aren't fans of the Mega Dragonite, but I actually love Mega Dragonite. There's the Gengar in the set, and if anybody learned anything from Fusion Strike, from any other set a Gengar was in, people are gonna go and chase that as well. There's another Ends Zoark there that looks like a Kingdom Hearts startup game. If anybody played Kingdom Hearts, it's got the little circle. Anyway, there's a lot of great cards in that set that I think people are gonna chase. To your point of saying that, hey, like, I like it, I might not love it, I respect that. But I do think it's gonna be a set that people like. There's gonna be some singles that people want from this set for sure. Um, and at first, I think it's gonna be pretty scarce. Um, Hopefully, more will be available in the future. But what I would say is, don't take your time. There's still the Japanese alternative, and that's going to be cheaper once the English set drops. So
Yeah, well, that's another thing too for Japanese. I don't think Japanese prices are going to be going down anytime soon for even future boxes.
yeah,
They're actually going to be going up. Sorry to break it to y'all, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be a cheaper alternative.
I absolutely see that. I absolutely see that. It's not going to be a heavy drop. Like, I don't think we'll ever see Japanese boxes as low as they were.
Mhm.
But before, I think there's a lot of value in Japanese that people aren't really seeing right now. I think there's, if you have chase cards in Japanese, it's okay that they're low right now, but
Yeah.
they're gonna go up. Like, I'll give you an example. I know we're talking about Ascended Heroes. Don't want to go too far off the subject, but Inferno X, right? You got the Mega Charizard SIR, right? It
Mhm.
seems right now, the way things are trending, that the Japanese version of the alternate art Mega Charizard X is outpacing the English one, and I think that's a precedent that people aren't really talking about that much.
Mhm.
So I agree with you 100%. I think Japanese cards, they may be more accessible, right? But you only get a certain amount of hits per box, and once that pull rate is like, if the pull rate's easier in English than it is in Japanese, because it used to be the other way around. The pull rates were easier in Japanese than they were in English. And I can easily see Japanese going up in the future.
Yeah, I think it's great for Japanese because of the guaranteed right hit. Now, when I say guarantee, it could be SR and above, right? Or is it, yeah, SR and above.
Hmm.
Um, could be good, could be bad, but
Right.
you get what you pay for, and you
Right.
know what you're gonna get, right?
Hmm.
Um, English, on the other hand, right? Like, I got burned on Phantasmal Flames because I know once you get like two full arts, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
that the rest of the packs are cooked. Like,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
Um, my family and I, that we're, a couple of degens, so we instead of buying the actual card we want, we're just gonna rip, and so that is not financial advice. Please do not
Not
do that.
financial ways.
Yeah. The smart way of doing it is just buy the card you want and then just leave it as is. But anyways,
Mm,
um so yeah, that's the total difference between Japanese and English. So there is definitely value for Japanese. I
mm,
think that also, eventually, like, people will start to realize, like, oh yeah, Japanese card, like, I know, like a lot of vendors, when you try to trade or sell a Japanese card, they typically don't want it,
yeah.
right? I think people are starting to, no, that's the vendors, fine, whatever. But I think people are starting to realize there's value with Japanese cards, especially like the like how do you call it? Like Japanese only,
Hmm.
promo cards. Um, it's only released in Japan. Like, those are definitely great. But for me, when I get it, like like, I have the Charizard from Inferno X.
Hmm.
I love the texture.
Yeah.
I've looked at the English version. I love the Japanese version better. And
Yeah.
also the text doesn't cover
The
Charmander's
Charmander.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Like,
the first. I feel like it's the first time people really. I'm not gonna say really. I'm not gonna say that has happened, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm not sure, right? But I will say that, the Japanese quality is better. The texture is much better as well. And all the people that I follow has always said very positive things about Japanese cards.
Mhm.
Poke, for example, his
Mhm.
shop, he sells probably more Japanese than he sells English. He has to, and so I think Japanese is always a great alternative. Now, Fada, I don't know if you're ready to talk about Chinese yet, but uh, but Japanese was definitely a great alternative. And it's not gonna lie, like, I've been a very pro English. Like, I prefer the English version just because
Mhm.
it's more valuable in my opinion. But I definitely see, like, if value is no longer an obstacle there, I could easily transition to Japanese. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in some cases, there's more value in Japanese. There's more value in Japanese gold cards than they are in the English gold cards. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, I mean, I definitely see that being a great alternative option.
Yeah. Chinese isn't so.
Chinese is in
Bebo and
its
I,
own world, yeah.
yeah, Bebo and I were talking about this too because like I started collecting Chinese like 3 years ago.
Chinese. You
Was it?
see, you see the comment. Vada says English equals sealed, Japanese equals mid range, Chinese equals rip galore.
Yeah. True. Depends though. Depends which Chinese. Um, because I mentioned this to you before. I think I did a video or maybe it was in a live stream where I talked about where China is still catching up
Mhm,
to um not just collectors. I'm not just talking about collectors, but TCG in general. There are
mhm,
more and more players now in China. Um, and that, and I mentioned this before, like where Nintendo is focusing more on Asia. That's where the money is. That's where they're marketing, you know. Um, and I did that video where I said, road to 100,000 on, Chinese products. I
mhm,
literally started buying, just collecting a lot of more Chinese, like Sun and Moon, these, you know, um, like China specific cards,
mhm.
right? And I knew that Nintendo and if I'm sure everyone knows that Nintendo has a stake in Pokemon, but that there's going to be these exclusive cards in China, right? And
Mhm.
that's why, when that fifth anniversary came out, I told you
Yeah,
remember all of us in our
yeah,
group, our private group, saying, "Hey, buy this." I was really pushing everyone to buy it,
yeah.
right? And how much? It was like $80, $9 a box,
Yeah, it was. I think by the time I grabbed one, it was like 120.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, 120 versus what it is now, it's so insane, so insane. Um,
Right? It's like 1,200 now or something. I don't remember. I don't know how much it is. It's
yeah,
a
I mean
lot.
that Pikachu promo is definitely something for sure. It's got a Mew in the back.
Yep. Yep.
That's the only Pokemon that matters. But
Well, right.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But but no, it's got a Mew in the back, and it's I think I think we could talk about. I mean, grading's a different subject altogether, but
Mhm.
Chinese cards grade very well. The quality. I mean, they're printed in Japan, so we know that the quality is going to be better than English, right? But I probably and I like hand to whatever you believe in. Anytime I send a Chinese card to PSA, it almost gems every time.
Mhm.
Not to say that there isn't cards that aren't, and there's no Chinese cards that aren't great, or aren't in, PSA 10 condition, but every time I've sent one to get graded, it's always come back at 10. But yeah, I mean the exclusivity on certain arts, I mean, it takes them people went crazy for the EVs, the gem packs. People have gone crazy with the 151, the different Pikachu arts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very smart what Pokemon did, to not just sell it there, but sell it abroad. You know what I mean? That may not be their goal, but they achieved that. Or maybe it was. We just don't know. But the Chinese exclusivity, I mean, and it's I don't make this economy versus economy, but the build quality and some of the I think the Chinese first anniversary, the traditional one, the one that came with the trainer cards, and that came with like a
Oh,
like a
right.
wood block, like to
Mhm.
to hold your cards in, and a wooden holder, and that thing is like solid. That thing will knock somebody out. It's not that stuff that yeah, it was made in China, but it's not that stuff that was like made in China. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
made.
exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say, right? Like
Right.
it's good. It was it was hefty. It was hefty. Now it didn't do as well as the fifth anniversary, but I still feel like it was a great product. With the jumbo packs and whatnot. And if you just even talking about the cards that aren't exclusive, some of the you talked about like earlier sets like Sun and Moon, X and Y, all that stuff. I mean, you're right. The China market was catching up. So if you bought those the alternate arts like the Sword and Shield alt arts, and even the Latios, the tag team alt arts, um, if you bought them, I think back then, man, it was super cheap. I could have a
The
chase, I could buy
Chinese
it.
version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh?
no, it was cheap. So I was buying those at $50 a piece. It ranged from $50 to $80 a piece. I
Yeah.
have a binder full of it
Yeah. And it was
because it
like
was so
you
cheap.
could buy a Latios tag team, and essentially any chase. If there was a menu of all the chase cards that were out there, and you looked at the Chinese the simplified Chinese version of that card, it was like pennies to the dollar,
Right.
pennies to the dollar. And now you look at some of those, and they're just as expensive as its counterparts. Maybe not the same, but a Moonbreon, a Chinese Moonbreon, is still very valuable.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
and back then it wasn't that hard to buy them. Now it is. Now you got to pay for it. So
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. I think that's why, when I was preaching to y'all like to get like Chinese, it's because nobody was looking at that market.
yeah.
Nobody was understanding what that market, because I would go on to what's it called? WeChat. It's a Chinese like social media, like, instant messaging. But I would ask like people like, what is Pokemon like over there? And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize a lot of like during, when we were, the cervezas. I call it the cervezas virus. Um, um, uh, you know, when a lot of the Japanese products that were being purchased was all from China,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like you would think that it'd be like, folks at US that was
Mm-hmm.
buying this stuff. A lot of people in China were purchasing this. And what people don't realize is a lot of people in China right now are purchasing different assets because, property is no longer an asset to them because of how, things went down
Yeah.
a few years back. So they're looking at other places. So you'll start to see like, especially there's going to be folks on the floor on, at card shows that are representing, folks from China
Yeah.
to purchase like these, slabs or cards or whatever it may be or sealed products. And it's really crazy. You just don't see it.
Yeah.
You won't see it, and people don't talk about it. But
Yeah.
that is happening in the background. And there's that aspect, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But um, I think the Asian market is just going to be going up higher, and just economy in general, Asia is going to be doing well, where US is going to be, not in a good place. And
Yeah.
that's why, I want to talk about like, 2026, what it's going to look like. Um, and for me, I don't want to be like, a Debbie Downer or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Uh, but let's get back to like, Ascended Heroes. I mean, I think it is a good set. You know,
Yeah.
I will be purchasing things, to rip open. But will I invest in it? Probably not. Like honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, like 2026 for me, I'm not really gonna be, you know, buying sealed. I'm not gonna be buying any products coming out in 2026. Maybe the
Mm-hmm.
30th anniversary, but other than that, you know, I mean, I don't mean I'm not trying to cut the stream short, but like yeah,
No,
for
it's
me,
okay.
I'm not really, you know, trying to purchase anything for 2026. I'll buy stuff to rip open. Don't get me wrong, right? I'll buy singles, but like if I were to shift my money, it'll be the 30th anniversary, right? Because like I have to think about like, any of the viewers here. Um, like this person right here, Jara says I hit 30 the 33-year mark considering selling, um and then pivoting to and putting their money into the stocks. Great. I think that's awesome. We have different, buckets of investors, collectors who's going to be watching this stuff, right? What's that? Good morning. Here, I'm gonna Dark Enforcer. What's up, buddy? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. Also CG again on your epic. Oh, that's right. Thank you. I pulled a Lugia on Nina's stream the other night.
Yeah. Which
Pokemon,
one?
yeah.
Which Lugia?
The Silver Tempest.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
a beautiful
yeah.
card.
I can never pull it. No, I pulled the Chinese one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
you
can't
did. I
pull the
remember that.
English.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
But anyways, yeah, for me, 2026, like 30th anniversary is like the key focus for me. Other
Yeah.
than that, I don't see anything for 2026 for me, unless it's like a product that's gonna be like, okay, that stands out. Because okay, if you look at it like Ascended Heroes, right? It literally just came out. We still have what, a year and a half
Mhm.
till it stops printing. And look
Mhm.
how they staggered the release,
Yeah.
right? They staggered it. So to me, that tells me, okay, they're probably going to be printing a lot of this, to be honest
Yeah.
with you,
Yeah.
because you have your other sets, Perfect Order,
Yeah.
right? There was another one I forgot after that. Nihil Zero, is that what it's called?
I think that was isn't that the Japanese version of Perfect Order?
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, I don't know. Oh, I guess Nihil Zero is okay. That's Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought it was a different set. Chat is correct me
Sorry.
if I'm wrong, or maybe I am wrong. But and you and I talked about this on our Discord about typically when Japanese comes out with a title, right?
Mm.
It comes out, but notice that they had a few titles that they released, but it never came out.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I have no
Why
clue.
is that? Okay, that's a different. Maybe you and I will, or I'll talk to you in our private Discord
Yeah,
about
yeah,
why.
it's hard.
But
It's hard to. Yeah, it's hard
this
to
is
speculate.
not that has nothing to do with, well, it kind of does, but that's another subject
Yeah.
on investing in 2026. But um
Part two.
yeah, that
Part two.
yeah, part two. Well, I don't know. I don't think I'll talk about that in public, but
That's fair.
um I just think for me, like, any of the sets that are coming out is just not worth purchasing. Okay, uh, and I've told this folks before. Like, I think there's that FOMO portion, right?
Yes.
Right. A lot of people FOMO into the Pokemon. Like, you have to understand. Like, in my head, I believe that Pokemon's going to be around for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 20 years of products ahead
Hmm.
that we're still going to be purchasing, right? And in all honesty, if I miss a set, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think even me, I'm guilty of this, of like, oh, I'm gonna miss out on a product. I'm gonna miss out on this product. I'm gonna miss out on this product. But it's okay, because you know what? Next year we don't even know what's gonna be coming out, and it might be the best set
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it, like Pokemon they do crazy things to surprise us every year, right?
Yeah.
Every year,
I mean,
right?
when you look at the Scarlet and Violet era, the first couple of sets were very playable sets. They were
Hmm.
for the players. We
Hmm.
talked about this, father. Like they were for the players,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they came out with Surging Sparks. And they're like, hold on, wait a minute. Everybody lost their minds. Came out with Twilight Masquerade, still kind of playable, but you got a Greninja now. Everybody chased that Greninja, and the EV card, forget about it. You know,
right, right.
and then each set after that was sorta, and I'm gonna say sorta banger after banger, right? It was almost like that until Journey Together, but
Mm.
it was still a banger set. I think Journey Together is a little slept on, but that's a topic for another day. But I think it was the start of what they're trying to do now. Trying to bring back people's Pokemon, like and so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, when 151 came out, I was like, why in the middle of Scarlet and Violet? Like, did they realize they lost some of their fan base? Like, were we trying to reel some people back in? Like, it was such a hype set,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That was
and
such.
it's like like that got more people back into the hobby. Like, I feel like the Pokemon company knows what they're doing.
Mhm.
Um, you know, if I were to comment on the Mega Evolution line right now, I think we're so early in that we just don't. You look at Scarlet and Violet Vase, like it's got some good cards in there, right? But it's not as great as the other sets. And you
Yeah.
can tell if you look at how much a master set costs. You can tell which sets people like and what sets people don't. I say people, but the market. I was to say the market. The market likes and market doesn't like as much. Um, and so I kind of compared the Mega Evolution base set to the Scarlet and Violet base set. I think it's very similar, had a very similar feel. It was like, oh my gosh, there's a Mega Venusaur, there's a Mega Lucario, which is a sick card, by the way. The Mega Gardevoir, the sleeper card. People don't know how great that card looks. All the cards, they look great, but as soon as the initial release kind of came out, everybody was pulling the cards that they wanted, like,
Mhm.
because it's not a big set. So if you open up, let's say, a case or two of booster boxes, if you're just ripping, you could
Right.
probably get a good majority of what you're looking for. And then in Phantasmal Flames, it's kind of the same thing, right? It's like, yes, there's a Piplup, yes, there's the Meowth, there's some really great illustration rares in there, but that set was so small that you probably can open up maybe a case instead of two cases now to get your chase. So with that being said, I think you're absolutely right. I think right now it's very early to know what's going to be great in this Mega Evolution line. I mean, I don't know what's in perfect order yet. I kind of know what's going to be in Ascended Heroes, which is why I'm saying it's probably a greater set. If I were to compare it to anything, and I hope people don't hang me on the wall for it, but I think it's very comparable to Paldea Evolved. You look at the Paldea Evolved is such a great set, um, and I think a lot of people would agree on that. Will we know if Ascended Heroes is going to be exactly just like Paldea Evolved? I don't know. We really don't know, but I do think that it's very comparable in terms of likability,
Mhm.
uh, if that's what we're talking about. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's too early right now to know what you should invest in the Mega Evolution era, right? So if you start thinking about, okay, well, what do I know? I do know the 30th anniversary is coming out, right? So with that being said, what let me ask you, Fada, what kind of investing, you know, what thoughts, I guess more so not investing, what thoughts kind of come to your head when you think about the 30th anniversary? Like, in terms of investing in products, singles, graded, like, what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts like when because of the 30th anniversary coming out? Like, what
Yes.
would I invest in?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, like, we don't know what the 30th anniversary is gonna look like,
Hmm.
right? Or even if there is going to be a product. Okay, no, that's a lie. There's gonna be a product. Um,
You heard it here
I put it
first,
on.
guys.
Yeah,
Just
I
get
put it on Twitter, right? October 23rd. I think that's what I put. Um, what I would be invest. That's hard to say without saying it. I wouldn't be buying the 25th anniversary. I would be purchasing what would be coming out from the 30th anniversary set, if that makes sense.
yeah, but we
Okay,
don't know what
let's.
that is, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, but you could kind of get an idea. Actually, B-Boy and I talked about it in our video.
And I'm still waiting for that
I'm
to be uploaded.
No, I'm gonna edit that part out too. I think I talked about it and I told B-Boy, okay, I'm gonna edit that part out. Um, but I think you have to speculate what's gonna be coming out, I guess.
Yeah.
I think most people could figure it out. I think most people could figure it out.
Yeah.
What's gonna be coming out in the set.
Sword
If
and
you want to
Shield
ask
alternate
B-Boy, you can ask him. Huh?
art. Sword and Shield alternate arts. I don't know. When
Maybe.
you look at XY, there was the XY evolution
Mhm.
era, kind of reprinted a lot of the classic cards. You look at the 20th anniversary, right? There's a lot of I mean, we know for sure there's got to be a Charizard in there. There's got to be. It just has to be. Um, again, I don't want to speculate too much, but I think, we haven't seen Blastoise yet. We've seen Mega Venusaur, we've seen Mega Charizard. I would expect something about a Mega Blastoise. And one of these sets that are coming out may not be 30th, but something soon. It's almost like if you look back in time and you look at some of these sets, I guess you could speculate what's going to come out, but we really just don't know. We know for sure Pikachu is going to be in there because that's their mascot. You know what I mean? In
Mhm.
some shape, form,
Mhm.
or fashion, Pikachu
Mhm.
is going to be in there. So everybody start buying Pikachu cards. That's not financial advice. Please don't take that from me. I'm probably sending you down a rabbit hole. Um, you know, for me personally, I don't know. I have a lot of love for the 25th anniversary because that's around the time that I came back into the hobby.
Mhm.
And that really not back, I would say into the hobby. Really, that's where I kind of started, and so I think I have a lot of love for the 25th anniversary. But I can absolutely see where that may or may not be the focus. But I do still think it's a great product to invest in, just because it is an anniversary set. And I anticipate personally that I think that there's going to be a lot of ripping of the 25th anniversary from
Mhm.
our rip and shippers. When we hear more about the 30th, I feel like they're going to start buying those packs in bulk, and it's going to cause the price to fluctuate a bit. Those are just my thoughts. Again, just thinking about how people react to certain things, or have reacted these last couple of um, months to years, or years to months. That's what I think there. But that's a that's an interesting thought, Fada.
Yeah, I mean, like I could see that happening. Yes, I could see that happening, but I just feel like the timing with the economy and everything else,
Mm,
you only have. I think most people have a set amount of money that they spend per month or whatever, right? And I think when you look at and I think this is going to happen with all the FOMO of like new sets coming out. People are going to just be spending so much money, whether people are saying, "Oh, I don't like perfect order," or whatever, but they're going to be spending money to open some packs. You know that. They
yeah.
can hate as much as they want, right? But I think that they're going to be spending money on it. Okay. Um, and I think, if prices go down on it, I think people would spend money because it'll be readily available, right?
Yeah.
If people don't like it, right? Um, but I think cost in general, for everything is going up higher and higher. So I
Hmm.
think people are going to be spending less money. So people are going to be smarter with their money of how they're going to spend, especially if they're going to be buying Pokemon. Um, if let's say celebrations were to go up, I don't know how much is a pack right now
I
for
think about
celebrations.
25 bucks.
20 $25 a pack. You think a lot of people will be spending that much money? I don't
I
know.
mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Again, it really just depends on the value aspect of it. I mean, you look at I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying there, because I'm like, yeah, I think there's a lot more stuff I could spend my but $25 on like One Piece or something. But I'm laughing, but um yeah, I mean, I think that there's a much smarter way to spend that $25 these days than it would be to open up a four card pack. You
Right. It's
know,
like 4. Is it 4?
I
4 or
think it's
5?
it's either 4 or 5, one to two.
I think
I think it
it's
is. I
I
think it's
think it is
four
4.
cards and a code card.
Yeah, you're right. I literally just ripped some open. But that's okay. There are different buckets of invest, like people who
Yeah,
spend money, right? Like
yeah,
obviously there's those folks that, they have extra cash that they could, but I'm think I'm speaking more for the majority of the like people
yeah, yeah.
in the
And I, I
hobby.
I I agree with you. I don't think the majority of people would spend $25 on a four pack of cards
Or-
that
Right.
that right now doesn't have an insane amount of value. I mean, when you think about Generations, the 20th anniversary,
Hmm.
and how much those booster packs are now,
Right.
it's almost like it's best kept sealed than open. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in there that's as valuable as the price that you're paying for to rip that open.
Right. Right.
It's more of an investment piece at this point. And I
Hmm.
think I'm not gonna go too far off the tangent, but I think that's another issue with like vintage. A lot of people don't want to open vintage because it's only valuable. We're mostly sealed, you know.
Right.
And so I think it gets to a point in which someone has to ask themselves, "Am I buying this to keep sealed, or am I buying this to open?" And I think at this point, Celebrations is probably something that you should probably keep sealed.
Absolutely. But not me. I'm just an idiot. So,
No,
I just went through my collections and like I opened up some of my collection boxes, some of my ETVs.
yeah,
But we got lucky though. We did pull some Charizards and we pulled some really good cards, you know. Um, so
yeah.
don't listen to me.
Gold Star Umbreon to the moon,
Full start.
man. It's
Yeah.
I recently I bought a Gold Star Greninja in the 10 promo in the 10 for a really good price because prices were dipping.
Right.
And that thing's gonna stick. It's probably gonna stick with me forever. You know,
I
when was
mean,
the last?
yeah,
Yeah, when was the
I
last time
mean,
I had a Gold Star Greninja?
right. I mean, mind you, like most of the products that we purchased were way back,
Yeah,
so, to us it's like yeah, we see the value now, but that's we purchased it way back when it was just super cheap. So it's like, we're not really losing anything, you
yeah,
know. I don't At least I don't see it that way. Some
no,
people might see it like, what are you doing? Like, but I didn't buy it at the top. I bought it when nobody was buying it,
mhm.
you know. So like it's
It's like
not a
evolving
big deal.
skies,
Oh gosh, we have a bunch of evolving skies when nobody wanted it,
right?
It's just like, so for us to open it, it's like not a big deal. Like, yeah, I get it. Like I could sell it for, X amount of money. It's like 2 grand now, something
Yeah,
like that. But like, I don't know, like, but we bought it at a really cheap price. It was like
mhm.
80, $90, I think, a booster box, something like that.
There you go.
You know, so you know, it's $90 that I just opened.
Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. You're getting a free investment advice. No, I'm joking.
No, 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 it's not
I'm joking.
investment.
It's not investment advice
I'm
at all.
horrible when it comes to like products like opening, ripping stuff like that's I'm horrible. I'm the worst person. But if I look at it from an investing perspective, then yeah, no, I would not open it, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
we look at it as investing, but we also look at it as a hobby too. You know,
Yes.
this is like I have a sealed product, but it's meant to be open though, It come on. At the end of the day, these products are meant to be open, you know. Um you're gonna keep it sealed and then what? I don't know. It's hard for me to like, okay, when we got into this hobby, and if you were to say to me like this is an investment, I would laugh at you. Because we were opening products just to open products and to have
Yeah.
fun. That's our diddle server, that's all we did. you know. Um, and we're like chasing after the chase card or whatever, but we didn't really look at it as a value, you know. Now it's like there's value to this, you know, which is crazy. Anyways, we're going off topic.
That's all right.
Matt Shadow's like, what are you saying? Keeping still can help new investors for future ripping. Okay, I can speak from oh, okay, yeah. I mean, okay, that is true. That is very true. I think there is value of keeping steel products, you know, because it could be if I don't want to rip it, I
Yeah.
could sell it to somebody who's gonna rip it and maybe make contact a content, and maybe it'll be entertaining or whatever, or for or some nostalgia. You know, they're like, oh, you know, I want to open this box because back when I was a kid, you know, I was opening this with my family or whatever. So I get it. Yeah, there is value to sealed. What is this? I now have more than 2x value in planning to rip free what I bought years back. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I think that's definitely that's definitely yeah. I mean, for people who are like holding on to product, like I don't know. If I've told you I'm buying as many Phantasmal Flame PC ETVs I can find while they're at their all
Mhm.
time low.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna become the next, Charizard King, or what, I'm not gonna be the next Kabuto King. Maybe with Muse, but that's a different story for another day. But Pokemon Center ETVs, I mean, Phantasmal Flames, I mean, I know what Obsidian Flames did, so you know, I don't know. I feel like sometimes, history repeats itself, and I could be long, I could be wrong. Again, it's not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing. Once Phantasmal Flames PC ETBs go, I don't know, $300 a box, crossing my fingers, then yeah, maybe I can rip one or two, if I wanted to, or now I have the option to rip and grade the promo. It really just depends on what your investment strategy is, and I think that everybody has their way of or their viewpoint of what they see as investing,
Mhm.
and what works for you, what works for other people work for other people. And I think that that's when we talk about Pokemon investing in 2026, I think that's an important fact to keep, to just kind of keep on the surface, right? People are going to invest in, what they want to invest in, and people have different ways to invest. Like I like ripping the grade. I grade a lot of cards. In fact, I'm getting ready to send a 500 card submission to PSA. And these have been cards that I've been accumulating through, degenning, right? In fact, I know that you send cards get graded too. There's some notable mentions where I think he knows what I'm about to say. Yeah, your
Yeah.
generation pools, your Charizard and what was it? Was
Uh,
it Sylveon?
Flareon.
Was it Sylveon? Yeah,
Flareon.
Flareon. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Flareon. Those were definitely. It's like yeah, I pulled them. You spent X amount of money on generation packs, and you pulled it, and you send it, and now you have what, 5-10x your money. I mean, it just depends on what people's investment strategy is, and I think everybody has their own version and of what they see as investing, which is why legitimately it is an investing advice. It's just having a conversation of you know what are some trends, what are things that we're seeing, and where we think things are going to go in 2026.
Yeah, like I watch a lot of YouTubers who talk about investing and this and that, and these.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with what they say, right? Like that's their opinion,
Mhm.
But when it comes to like, okay, there's this huge conversation about what was it, Destined Rivals?
Mhm.
I hear about it on X, YouTube, you name it. I talk about it at card shows, and people are like, "Oh, this is the best investment. Like, people should get this and this and this." You know what I mean? Like, and I think people listen to that and get caught up with it, right?
Mhm.
And then have this feeling like either I need to buy it or I can't afford it, so I'm missing out on it, and they feel like this, you know, it's FOMO basically, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you and I've talked about this, especially, and we said it earlier, is that there's there's going to be another opportunity.
Yeah.
Who's a big advocate of this and who says this a lot is Danny Phantom.
Hmm.
He says like there's always going to be an opportunity. Like okay, I'm gonna take like Sun and Moon, like tag team, and like the Cosmic Eclipse and all the Unbroken Bonds, whatever those sets. People missed out on it, but guess what? Evolving Skies came out. You
Yeah.
know, my personal second favorite is Brilliant Stars, um, but Crown Zenith, another opportunity came out, right? Like even if you missed out on Sun and Moon, all those sets or XY, whatever, right? There's always going to be another opportunity. Sure, Destined Rivals might be the opportunity for Scarlet and Violet, right? But now we're going into this new right set, all these new sets. There might be another opportunity, or it could be next year, 2027, that you might have another opportunity. So like Pokemon, for me, I believe that Pokemon's going to be around for a very long time. So there's like, don't, I don't know, don't
Don't
get so
FOMO.
caught up,
Yeah.
huh?
Don't FOMO. Don't FOMO.
Yeah, don't FOMO. Exactly. Do not FOMO. And Matt Shadow said this too. Like he missed out on 151, but it didn't, he didn't dwell on it, you know. And he's like, whatever, right? Because after 151, there were other, sets that came out.
Yeah.
So it's like, even I had to learn that, like, and teach that to my kids. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we didn't get any, like we bought some Phantasmal booster boxes.
Hmm.
Did we keep any sealed? No, we didn't. We just ripped them. We just said screw it. Like we don't need to keep any sealed. Like okay, yeah, potentially it could be 500 or it might 5x 6x whatever.
Hmm.
Sure, but you know what? Like my kids and I, we had such a great time just ripping that open. That's priceless to me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I, people just need to start collecting or investing the way they want to. Like,
Yes.
okay, I look at it this way too, and I was talking to my friend about it. Is that Pokemon's like video games. There's so many video games that come out, right?
Mhm.
It's hard to choose which game to
I'm,
play. And
I'm,
a lot of kids these days too, they purchase the game, they don't finish it, they purchase the next game. I feel like that's what people are doing with Pokemon too. It's like you're buying these products, you have it, you're hoarding it or whatever, you put it in the closet and you go to the next set and you totally forget about the other set. And it's like,
wait, wait, Fada, pin the comment that says Pokemon will never die anytime soon. There you go. It's like big as big as pharma. Yeah. The
yeah,
truth could not be more told right there
that
in
is,
that one comment.
I believe it too though. I actually do.
Yeah.
Just I've done my research, and just like the marketing, the how they, keep Pokemon sustainable too. You have different avenues for Pokemon. Could be from games to TCG, to entertainment, to merchandising. I mean, it's just I don't think it's gonna die anytime soon. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, look, there's some statistics in there now too. Uh,
This one,
yeah.
February 28th, 2025, net sale 411 billion yen, $2.9 billion. Okay, plus 38.1% on the. Jeez. Okay. I mean, Matt Shadow knows what he's talking about,
Yeah. Now,
but it's
now,
true though.
now imagine if Elon Musk ran Pokemon. I'm
Oh,
joking.
jeez.
I'm
Oh,
joking.
jeez. No,
That's a
no,
different
no,
kind of conversation. But
no. But you're
anyway,
right. I think you kind of hit the point, like of Like, what would I be doing? Okay, if you were to ask me, hey, Fada, what are you gonna, invest in 2026? I'm kind of with you. Pokemon Center, like ETBs.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
I
it's
hate
exclusive.
I missed out on Ascended Heroes and Perfect Order,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, I probably will be buying those at market price. But and it will just stay on the shelf somewhere or in a bin somewhere, and I'll forget about it and be like, oh look, there's gold.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think PC ETBs is the way to go. I mean, I understand like booster boxes and all, but like if you're going to, I think PC ETBs is a good way of like getting in without taking up too much real estate, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because I remember where my wife was just like, "What are you doing with all these boxes?" Right? So I had to, get a storage, um, and I had to put like all these, boxes away. And now that I think of it, if well, I'm happy what I did with Sword and Shield era and part of SMV, but moving forward, I think for me, it's just going to be about PC ETBs.
yeah.
I think that's the way to go. Um, unless there's like a particular product, like Evolving Skies or Prismatic, then I'll go ham on it, right? I'll go crazy on it.
How's
I'll
your
get
how's
whatever.
your prismatic portfolio looking, Fada?
You should see like how much I have. A lot. Yeah, like
I
I
don't
just
doubt it.
finished my garage and I'm looking at, you know, the boxes up there. Um, yeah, Prismatic I think is one of those sets. You know how I felt about it before it even came out. I mentioned it in our Discord. Um, I think it's a special set.
Yeah,
It's a very special set. And not just Prismatic. I have a ton of whatchamacallit too. The Japanese version.
yeah. The Terrestrial Festival, yeah.
Dress
Which I
Festival.
don't know if
Yeah.
you noticed, that's been going up.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
Yeah.
going up,
Yeah.
and I don't know
Yeah.
if people realize that yet. But it's one of those things. Like you know, I think. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it with what was the Japanese version of Evolving Skies? It's slipping out of my mind. Was
Of
the
Evolving Skies. EV Heroes?
Yeah, EV Heroes? There we go.
Yeah.
So we see how in a lot of ways EV Heroes, you get a Japanese Moonbryon. Isn't it more expensive than the English one,
I
or is
don't
it
know, to
about
be
on
honest with
par?
you.
I haven't compared them in a very long time, but I think again, I think it's harder to get. They're both hard to pull on the Moonbryon.
Mhm.
They're I would say they're both equally hard. I think maybe it could be arguably said that English is probably the hardest to pull a Moonbryon, but um, where was I going with that? Like the Japanese variant of the Terrestrial Festival, even though it's easier to pull, it's still hard to pull that particular special art rare. And the Master Balls too. I think people are sleeping on those too. Master Ball Umbreon, and the Eevees from Terrestrial Festival. I mean, right now may be a good time to buy a PSA 10 set if you can afford it.
Mhm.
Um, but it's very it's gonna go up probably in the next year or two because I don't know if they've been printing terrestrial to the ground like they've done here in for English, but I think Japanese has a much different print cycle. Is that right, Fada? Or
Yeah, well, that's the thing about Japanese, which is different, is they could keep printing.
yeah,
They could literally say, okay, let's reprint EV Heroes if they wanted to. It's
you
totally
could,
different.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's totally different where in Japan they could reprint if they really wanted to.
yeah.
There hasn't been too much, but I mean they do. It's happened though, you know. So, but yeah, like when I was purchasing Crown Zenith, nobody wanted them. I had cases of them.
Yeah.
Do you remember I was ripping Crown Zenith until I was till I pulled the gold Giratina?
Yeah.
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 Like I was going through cases and cases, and I still had a garage full. We just sold it last year too. We sold a bunch of cases of Crown Zenith because we just had to offload it, which is taking too much space. Um,
Oh, what a problem to have. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
but again, and you know how I invest. The way like I've taught my kids, it's like we typically purchase like multiple copies,
Yeah.
you know, and then when it jumps up, we sell half of it, and basically the rest that we have is just free.
Hmm.
That's how we do it, right? Because we get our principal back, the rest is free, and we could do whatever we want with it. And that's kind of like what we did with Crown Zenith. We purchased a bunch of it because nobody wanted it
Yeah.
towards the tail end of it. Like I think we were getting a case at about 300 or 350 a case,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
That was cheap. Okay, so what ETBs? Like
Yeah, a case of the ETBs, yeah.
crazy.
And then we ended up buying the other booster bundles,
Yeah.
and
I
those were
remember that.
cheap too.
Yeah.
And yeah, and nobody wanted those, you know.
But now it's like gold. I mean, it's I'm still curious to see how Crown Zenith is going to do in the long run. I know it's going to do. I have no doubt that it's going to do well. But there is a lot of copies of the card because when Sea and Sky came out, the pull rates were just way too good
Mhm.
on those boxes. I see a lot of um, I see a lot of copies maybe in population reports, but it's still a really good set.
Let me get to that point. Um, and that's kind of like what I see as in Prismatic as well, right?
Mhm.
I saw the similarities to like Crown Zenith, you know. Um, and it's funny though because when Ascended Heroes or Mega Dreams came out, I said this reminds me of Crown Zenith and kind of Prismatic, right?
Yeah,
Um, and it's funny because then somebody else said it on social media. And I was like, well, that's exactly what I said, but whatever. Um,
somebody
that's
was
what I kind of felt with.
somebody was listening.
Yeah, somebody was. I do. That's why I do feel about Ascended Heroes. Yeah, I think it's a good like. It's not great enough for me to go crazy on it on the initial and start investing. I
Mhm.
think it's good. Eventually, at some point, yes, it would be a great set to invest in. That's kind of where I see it. Thanks, Matt Shadow, for being here. Appreciate you. Have a great, wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later, Matt Shadow.
Yeah, for sure.
Cheers.
I appreciate it.
Um, so yeah, for me, I feel like, hey, PokeJack, I didn't see you there. Sorry. Um, yeah, for me, I feel like 2026 is a year where it's like you have to be very picky about what you invest in. Like,
Yes.
if I were to put my money on things, I would, yeah, hold my money, save my money on the 30th anniversary. Or kind of like what McFly was saying, or Epic Mew Guy. Sorry, should I call you just Epic Mew Guy?
Either Epic
Either.
you guy McFly works. It's the
Mhm.
same thing.
I'll
It's
just say
good.
Epic Mew Guy.
Cool.
Um, I think the PCETB is a smart way to go. I
Yeah.
really do. Whether folks don't open those, right? I would say, I'm just guessing here, maybe 20% of folks open their PCETBs.
Yeah.
Let's just say 80% holds it. But if you think about, historically PCETBs, they don't reprint those at
No, they
all.
don't.
You know, there might be another wave,
Like
here
Stellar
and there.
Crown. That was random.
Yeah, that was super random. I think they did it with 151 as well, right?
Yeah.
But it was like a short, really, short wave though.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it was a restock or a reprint, but um, but they do sometimes release it. But that's it though. Whereas booster boxes, they typically have a few waves.
Hmm.
Um, but But here's the thing: they could decide, okay, let's reprint these, and they
Yeah,
could, because they have
yeah, they
before.
have Destined Rivals. You've seen Destined Rivals randomly pop up. I mean,
Yeah.
Destined Rivals isn't. I mean, every just about every accessory, as I'm gonna call them accessory, but
Mhm,
every like collection box, 9 times out
mhm,
of 10, has Journey Together and Destined Rivals.
right.
What you don't find is Black Bolt White Flare, but that's different. You know, they also just reprinted that too in
Mhm,
the form of the bigger boxes, right?
right.
And so, yeah, you're not gonna find specialty set stuff in a Venusaur EX premium collection box. You know what I mean? But you'll find Destined Rivals Journey Together, Surging Sparks, and I think there's still much more promises to be delivered on from the Pokemon Company in terms of there's probably still more Prismatic that's coming. There's probably more Surging. I wouldn't be surprised if they briefly touch Twilight. Twilight's one of those sets that I'm not completely sure what they're gonna do, but that was I feel like the point in time in which the market completely shifted. And so anything before Twilight is probably done.
Mhm,
Paradox, the 151,
mhm,
anything before Twilight is probably done. And again,
yeah.
I, I don't know for sure if it's factual, not financial advice. I'm not trying to tell you to go out there and buy every Paradox Rift booster box and you'll become a millionaire in the next 30 days. Like I'm not trying to tell you to do that. But I do think everything before Twilight Masquerade, we can probably assume that's not going to be reprinted. Or that's probably out of the print cycle at this point. Um, but it is there's a print cycle, and one of the things that aren't on a print cycle list, like you mentioned, Fada, is the PC ETBs, the Pokemon Center ETBs. So it probably is arguably one of the better products to invest in long term, especially since I guess the Scarlet and Violet era. I mean, there's still Sword and Shield. We were just talking about this the other day. I didn't realize that Sword and Shield had Pokemon Center boxes until they were all gone.
Mm, okay.
They have been sitting on there for months.
Mhm,
Like we talked about, like there's Fusion Strike, and there's the I said the Giratina one, the Lost Origin. And I mean we knew that there was a Elite Trainer box plus for Crown Zenith. I mean, I think that was the first time it didn't quite say Pokemon Center, but it's essentially the Pokemon Center version of it. Um, but I think that would probably was the only time that I realized there was Pokemon Center before Scarlet and Violet. So
mm,
those people might not be thinking about too much. So maybe a moment, maybe take a moment to go back in time and see what products are Pokemon Center exclusive and go from there. But I definitely think PC exclusive stuff is eventually might not outpace it too much, but it might be either on par or might pace out booster boxes.
mm. True, true. I think for me, like specialty sets, and I know I just mentioned like I'm not going to be going too crazy on the Sunday Heroes yet. Only because I think like specialty sets always get printed a lot.
Yeah.
They do. They just do. Um, Especially like for Ascended Heroes, right? And you take a look at 151, they printed like crazy. Crown Zenith, they printed like crazy. All the popular ones. So this one's going to definitely be popular. Um, so my investment for 2026 would be maybe Ascended Heroes would be more later in 2026, and then some in 2027. But my focus is basically on PC ETBs, 30th anniversary.
Mm.
Um, and that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. I mean, unless there's a really good set, I'll buy booster boxes,
I mean, true. I mean,
really
I
basic.
have,
But
with things that I'm allocated, I do put like a booster box or two to the side. If
Mhm,
I can keep a case to the side, I think for the
mhm,
first time in a long time, I've been able to keep a Phantasmal Flames booster box case because it doesn't make sense to sell at this low right now. It to me it doesn't. And it's not because I'm trying to hold on to or like trying to get top dollar for it, but I know, at least from what I've seen, I've been in this hobby long enough to know that in time, once it's no longer available, it's gonna go up just because of a chase card.
Mhm.
Um, and so I know that if I held it long enough, I can get what I would like to get for it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it depends on the reason why you want to hold on to things. If it's financial, then if you're a collector, you want to hold on to it, then I don't think value is gonna phase you very much, right? So it really just depends on what the reason is that you're holding on to stuff. I think for me, first time it's the first time in a long time I've actually been in a position to actually hold on to something. It used to be, hey, like I gotta sell this in order to get to the next thing. And I think at this point, I can actually make a decision now to say, hey, I'm gonna hold on to this. You know, um, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
So let me kind of ask you something about investing. And for you, what is your end game? Like
Mm,
okay, let's just say for instance, you have your Phantasmal Flames
mm,
Bizrock's case, right?
yes,
How long do you intend to hold that?
that's a great question. I
And
think.
then, oh, sorry.
Sorry, no,
How long?
sorry, twofold question. Gotcha.
Yeah. There's one more question. So
Yeah.
how long do you plan on holding that? And what is your timeline? Like, do you have like your end game? Like, is it 10 years, 20 years from now, or is this or short term for you?
Well, I mean, I think at this point, it's probably within a 5 year like turnaround. I don't think. I think there's some products that you hold for 10 plus years. I think those are like anniversary sets, special sets, like prismatic. I think that's something. At the very beginning, we talked about prismatic PCETB cases.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, I know they say that when you sell something, you like don't regret it, like be confident in it. And I'm confident in it, but I do kind of regret selling that PCETB case because I think that's something that you hold for 5, 10 years. You know, um, Phantasmal Flames, I think I hold it for maybe 5 years. Like there's certain things like like these sets that I don't know, like the chase cards of Charizard. It's not even thinking about just a singular Pokemon. I think if it's not a specialty set or something that's gonna bring much more value longer term,
Mhm.
it's something I learned. We we've talked about the Mew and Mewtwo Super Premium Collection. I'm gonna bring that up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just so in the mindset. I wanted to rip it so bad. I mean, like, and not in a way of like, oh my gosh, I couldn't control myself, but like, I just didn't see any reason for holding it, and I have to take a moment to honestly thank you for telling me not to rip it because now it's I bought it for 450 maybe, and that's a lot of money to spend on Pokemon cards to be clear, but now
Mhm.
it's easily clearing 22, 2500. And the 30th anniversary is coming, and we don't know what it's going to do with that. That's something
Mhm.
that could pay for my child's tuition down the line, my son's
Mhm.
tuition. I have, I have this base set pack. This base set. Oh, you guys can't see because of the blur. But base set pack. Yeah, it's not gonna do it. The blur effect is real.
It's all right.
I have a base set pack. Base set pack. And it's I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I weighed it. It's not a heavy pack, right? But even if it was heavy or light, like opening it is gonna, bring its value down to zero. This is something that's eventually gonna be a museum piece, right?
Mhm.
So I can
Mhm.
pass it down to
Mhm.
my son and say, "Hey, this is, don't ever sell this. As hard as it is to not do, don't ever sell this because it's gonna become a relic one day, you know." So I mean, going back to your question, is Phantasmal Flame something that's gonna be in a museum? Maybe, but I'd probably see this vintage pack put Pokemon cards in a museum before I see that because of how iconic it was. I'll probably see Prismatic in a museum before I see Phantasmal Flames.
Hmm.
I'll probably see 151 in a museum before I see Phantasmal Flames. 25th anniversary before I see Phantasmal Flames. And for that reason, it's a short term investment. So probably 5 years, if not sooner. Probably if I'm able to get, double or triple my initial investment, because it's something that isn't, I can't just sell a piece of it. Does that make sense? Like I,
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
I like you and your kids' investment strategy. Like if I'm able to, like, I'm not gonna say hoard. I feel like hoarding is like a negative word, but if I'm able to collect a bunch of, you know, bunch of a said or a certain amount of said product, then yeah, I think I would probably sell enough to break even, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then maybe sell a little bit more to have more money to invest in the future, and then keep some sealed. And to your point, at that point, it's free. I can do whatever I want with it.
Right.
And so I love that investment strategy, and that's something that I'm eventually going to implement myself because I think it's really good, solid advice. I'm using the word advice, not financial advice, guys. But I like it. I like your strategy, and I think that's something I would like to adopt. But right now, that Phantasmal Planes booster box is probably going to stay sealed until I can 2 or 3x the current market.
Okay. I want to bring this up. PokeJack said, I traded a few 151 slabs for Evolving Skies booster box a while ago. No regrets. I agree with that 1,000, 1,000,000%. That was the greatest decision. And let me explain why. So, I've been investing, and not just in Pokemon, right? Like just in general, for a very long time. One of the things, and I've mentioned this to our group, one of the things about, and especially Evolving Skies here, let me see, Evolving Skies came out, gosh darn it, hold on,
Was
sorry.
it 2019? Was it 2019? 2019.
2019, somewhere around there. Let me see.
Somewhere around there. 2020,
Nope,
2019.
August 27th, 2021.
21. Jeez.
21.
I'm off.
21. All right. Just think about this, right? 2020 was an event that the whole world is never going to forget,
Oh, you're right.
right? Think
Mhm.
about it. This is where I'm going to get to, and I've talked about this many times before, right? When we were all stuck at home, right? And the world opened up, I think officially opened up in May of 2023. Okay. In between those times, think about all the Pokemon. Pokemon started hyping up like crazy, right? People were opening up packs, right? If you're gonna invest in anything, and honestly, so I'm gonna open up and say this. That I wasn't gonna say, but because PokeJack said this though, if you're gonna invest in anything in 2026, buy those sets that people were opening during those time. If you look at it, okay, like McFly, this is nothing new. You've heard me say this,
Yeah.
right? And you've seen the posts, like the stuff I've been purchasing. And I think people are starting to realize, because one YouTuber said this. One YouTuber said, I think his name is Mimic Brew. Shout out to him. I love his content, by the way. Um, and I said this before, my kids do the same thing. This one kid was up on stage and got excited of winning, what was it, like it was like Paldea Evolved or something.
Mhm.
It wasn't it wasn't any of the other sets, the older sets. It was Paldea Evolved.
Yeah.
If you think about the timeline, right? Especially our kids these days, because my kids love Iono like crazy. So you know what I did? I just bought a crap ton of Ionos, right? Um, these kids, they're the ones. If you're gonna be invested, they're the ones you're gonna be selling to,
Hmm.
not us, not us, right? That's why I kept telling you, like, that's why I asked you, like, how long are you keep that Phantasmal Flames, right? Because you're selling to the audience who's going to be interested in it, right? That Sword and Shield era is going to be huge. It's just huge. You talk about 10, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, right? The people who lived through that time will know that set. That's Sword and Shield is probably the most important set. I'm sure like Sun and Moon too, because people were ripping shipping and stuff, and you know
But
that was
no, I
pretty
mean
popular.
everybody.
But
I mean, such a much. There's a much longer audience there.
mhm.
I think that's very valid. I mean, some of the cards that like my neighbor had me grade a BWR Zekrom, and he couldn't stop talking about the Zekrom he pulled from his booster pack.
Mhm.
That's my neighbor's son, the neighbor I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
That's why because he started watching Whatnot streams and started showing his dad, and then now the dad showed it to the wife, and now the wife has a pack opening addiction too. So it's like if they're a
Mhm.
whole family, that's it started with their son. I think that's a very powerful statement.
But I think it's hard though. There's a big difference though. I feel like during the 2020 to
Mm.
2023, uh,
Kuyan,
yo, Kuyan,
Kuyan,
now you have the link. You could technically join.
could actually you probably
Um,
should.
he probably should. Um,
This is probably
but
his favorite part right here.
but
Honestly,
going back to what PokeJack was saying though, like that was the smartest move because if all these guys think about it, every kid is talking about Moonbryon. Every kid talks about Evolving Skies. It's just a no-brainer. Doing good, Kuyan. Hope you're doing well. You have the link if you want to join. Oh, you're at work.
oh,
Boo.
work sucks.
Jeez. Um, work does suck. Anyways, but yeah, Evolving Skies. Like, I would take Evolving Skies any day. Any day. Think about it.
Yeah,
That that alone, right? That alone, if you say Evolving Skies, there's nothing else you need to say,
yeah.
right? In a conversation, you talk about Evolving Skies, hands down, like that's like
So so do
Pokemon.
we invest in Evolving Skies or do we invest in Moonbryon? Which one, Father?
Ah, that's a great question. So if you think about like sealed, right? You're technically going to be selling in a smaller, it's a smaller pie, right? If you think about, let's say, Evolving Skies gets to $20,000, right? Average person is not going to spend $20,000. You're going to sell it to folks who are heavily invested, who have money, right? The capital to purchase that. Versus if you were to just purchase the Umbreon, it might be, I don't know, $5,000, right? So yeah, it's not the $20,000. No, I don't know. It could, I don't know how much Moonbrion's going to be, right? But you know what I mean. But $5,000 is much reachable. There are folks who can save up or spend that kind of money, right? But 20,000 is a little bit kind of out of reach for most folks.
Yeah,
So that's kind of how I look at it.
yeah.
Um, here's Kuyan. Kuyan sums it up just by S tier products. There, done.
Well,
Stream's over. We're done.
as soon as you create a list of S tier products, just let me know. I'll subscribe to your newsletter.
I mean, I think most people could. Well, there's different S tiers in different eras, right?
Right.
If you're talking about Sword and Shield, I mean, I could, like me personally, I have a different, tier level. Um, but I always, whenever I look at a set, I always kind of take a look back. I block out the noise of the most chase card or the most expensive card. I look at the set and you know the entire set, right? Um, like I think everybody was, talking about Twilight Masquerade, and I had a different opinion on Twilight Masquerade. I didn't really care for Twilight Masquerade. I just didn't.
How
I
dare
still
you?
don't. I'm
How dare
sorry.
you disrespect
There's a couple
Eevee's
of
name
cards.
honestly?
There's a couple of cards in there that's really cool, but as a whole entire set, I just didn't care. You know.
Yeah,
Um.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
What is Kuyon saying? I see what sells.
Yes, prismatic
Yes,
151
Prismatic
crossing
one.
is done.
Crown Zenith done. I I agree. I definitely agree. And if y'all don't know Kuyon Collectibles, he has his own store. Check out kuyoncollectibles.com. Um, it's got Japanese, English, you name it. He's got it all. He's also a vendor, so definitely check him out. He's got a YouTube channel as well, so please check him out. But so he knows this area very well. He's been doing it for a while. Um, and
He's
he
one of
knows
those
what sells.
he's one of those S tier vendors.
Yeah, he knows what goes in, what goes out. He talks to vendors. Uh, he knows this area very well, and he's right. Like Evolving Skies, Prismatic, 151, Crowns it, they do sell. Those are the S tier. They are definitely like go into any conversation. I don't care how old you are. You talk about Evolving Skies, Prismatic, 151, and Crown Zenith. You know, they all will gravitate towards that, right? Like I could talk to my kid, my oh my gosh, she's turning 7 actually this month.
Oh my gosh,
um I could say Evolving Skies, Prismatic, 151, Crowns Dance, she'll know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
no hesitation.
Yeah, Sadie's starting to get into Pokemon. Like she loved to like rip open things, she didn't know what she was ripping into, but like now, like she's really getting into understanding set names, Pokemon names, and all that. She knows these sets. Like, if I were to say, "Hey, I'm gonna open up some Crown Zenith," her eyes would light up. Like, really? Um. So I feel like 2026 is gonna be just really interesting. I think,
Yeah.
and and I don't think anyone's really talking about. There's investing, but what do you think the hobby is gonna look like? Like I feel like more people, and now I'm gonna come to this where everybody's kind of like, you know, not everybody, but there's folks who are shifting over to other TCGs like One
Mhm.
Piece, right? What is Pokemon going to look like for 2026 with people moving? And I know people are like, oh well, people will come back for the 30th anniversary, which could be true. I don't know. I think people will come back though. What but in between that, like what do you think it's gonna look like? I think, if you look at, liquidity wise, like people are shifting their money over to One Piece.
Yeah.
Not so much to Pokemon, right? Um oh, Ryan's got a good question. I'll answer that in a second. But liquidity's moving over to One Piece. And I've noticed this. I go to every card show around my area, right? And I've noticed that vendors are selling Pokemon, but One Piece. There's a lot of One Piece vendors now. There's a lot. I don't know in your area if you notice that, but
I mean, to be fair, I haven't gone to a lot of shows in the last couple months. I
that's
myself
true.
was actually gonna
New
start.
dad.
I'm sorry.
You're a new dad. You don't have time for you.
Well, this is true because like I started or I defended my first show towards the end of last year.
Yeah, that's
And I
right.
do plan on helping out another vendor, when he comes down to Houston,
Mhm.
when he's out of state. But I do plan on vending in 2026. It will probably be mid to 2026. Um, but from what I hear, a lot of people have, you know, transitioned to One Piece. I think there's now more One Piece vendors than there are Pokemon vendors. Um, Now the Pokemon is still there, but it's not in. It's not as I want to call it cool. It's not liquid. I think it's not as you know, I'll put it this way: the amount of new vendors that came out in the last 2 years is astronomical. Like
Mhm.
it's. I think I can't say what I'm going to say without going into like what vending has transitioned into. You know, you used to be able to get a table at a show the day before the show. And in some cases, unless it's Collecticon, that's a little different, right? But any local show, um, you were able to get in relatively close to the show's date. When the new vendors came in, everything was sold out in minutes. It's like concert tickets. It's like now you got people reselling tables at like 3 or 4 times the cost. Um, people were literally buying tables to flip them. Everybody started to become show owners now, and they wanted their own show, which is why there's a show in Houston every weekend. I kid you
Mhm.
not. There's at least
Yep.
a card show every weekend in Houston, Texas. It might not be it might be a big one, it might be a smaller one, but there's one every weekend. You can almost guarantee it. And there were vendors when I would go to those shows, the vendors would have like trending products. They would have like whenever the Mega Evolution stuff was like announced and people liked Megas again, everybody was buying Mega Gengars, Mega whatever Mega cards they can get from the XY era, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed that, Fada, that people started to buy cards that were trending, and there were very few vendors that had a lot of variety. I feel at this point of vending that the the vendors that did not have the variety that were buying what I'm going to quote unquote and say is hype products, those vendors are now becoming one piece vendors. They're still following their same formula that's been around the last year and a half, and it works, right? It does work. Unfortunately, if it didn't work, it would die out, right? But I think that's what we're really seeing. So to go into the $1 million question, I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing those same hype vendors um, transitioning over to One Piece. Now, for some people, it might be a natural transition. Oh, well, I didn't know that One Piece was this either this profitable or this collectible. I blame that on OP13 because uh which is carrying on his will. That's the 13th iteration of the One Piece booster box. I don't know, but I was like, I'm interested to, I didn't know what was in it. I didn't know what the chase was, whatever. And I bought a box. Well, actually, I bought 2 boxes from a local card shop at non-scalper prices. And one of those boxes had the red manga Luffy in it. And I reached out to my friend Chris. I know you know Chris.
Yeah, yeah.
I reached out to Chris and I'm like, Chris, like this, like I know this is a manga, but like, why is it red? I knew nothing, absolutely nothing.
Right.
And he's like, dude, do you know what you just pulled? I'm like, a manga Luffy. Like I know I pulled a manga Luffy. So I was like, I mean, it's got to at least be. I mean, I know a little bit enough in terms of value. It's gonna be a one to
Right.
$2,000 card. Let's go. To no, dude, that's like a $6,000 to $7,000 card, and I'm like, no, there's no way. There's absolutely no way whatsoever. And I started looking at TCG Player, and there's only like 2 listings. And yeah, anyway, so I blame it on that set because and I learned this. I've been learning more about One Piece, or like the
Mhm.
trading card game, the rarities, the what you get out of a booster box, what you get out of a
Mhm.
case. Like there's actual pool rates when it comes to those things. So for me personally, will I transition to One Piece? I don't know. I'm not very settled on Pokemon or One Piece. Am I going to become a One Piece vendor? Probably not. Will I have some One Piece with me to maybe sell next to my Pokemon? Maybe. I don't know, right? Because you got to have, like Kuyan says, you got to have things that are liquid. So if I have some liquid One Piece cards, why not, right? So I think I went off of a tangent there, but I think that's what's going on. You got people who are genuinely interested that didn't know about One Piece, and I will speak on the behalf of those folks because I feel like that's where I live. And then you have people who are chasing the next best thing, and I think that's honestly what's going on more so than the people in the middle. And then you got people who have been in One Piece forever that are just like how people have been in Pokemon forever. Like, what
Yeah.
do you mean this isn't an MSRP? This is the market price now.
Mhm.
So it's like everybody knows the difference. I think with that transition, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at people who are vending that are selling hype products, and right now, One Piece is one of the hype products.
So interesting thing, like for me, like who I consider top 5 vendors in the Bay Area, out of the 5, like two of them have already shifted over like to One Piece. I mean, they have Pokemon, don't get me wrong. They
Mm,
still have Pokemon, but they've shifted over and dabbling into One Piece. And I think, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like I think that's great. I feel like we're starting to see this balance, right? Where people are shifting over to another TCG. Um, because you look at different buckets where either people will follow that, just go, they'll get rid of Pokemon, go to One Piece, and then you have some folks who will dabble in both. Right now, they're kind of spreading thin on what they could spend because they're spending on both. Um, and I think it's healthy for the hobby to, especially right now, people are shifting over to another TCG. I think it's healthy for Pokemon. I
hmm
think some folks are pretty happy because they're starting to see products in stores.
hmm
I was surprised. I went to a Target and I saw some products and I was like, "Oh, this is weird,"
Yeah,
Um, I thought it was kind of strange.
I walked into
Um,
Walgreens in Las Vegas
mhm,
earlier this week, and
mhm,
there's Phantasmal Flame sleeves on the wall. I'm like, what? I mean, I'm not surprised because I know the state of what state Phantasmal Flames is in right
mhm,
now in its release cycle,
right,
right? It's the same thing I saw that happen with regular Mega Evolution. Okay, everybody's pulled what they wanted to pull, so they don't need any more Phantasmal Flames.
right.
So
Yep.
now you're gonna see product in there. You're gonna see Mega Evolution. You're gonna see Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames. You'll see them both.
So Ryan had this question about what about Silver Tempest Lost Origin? Kuyan pretty much touched on it, but um, for me, I love Silver Tempest. I think Lugia obviously was like the chase guard. Lost Origin was Giratina. But I think what people don't realize is like that was during the trainer gallery era.
hmm
Um, if you can't just look at Silver Tempest Lost Origin just that alone. There's that trainer gallery set, and it's loaded. I think Silver Tempest Lost Origin was loaded with trainer galleries. Um, so for me, those are great sets. They're definitely up in my yeah. Pokejack says also rainbows. That's right. That's right. I
You
love my
speaking
rainbows.
Fada's language now.
Yeah, I know. I love rainbows and gold. Right, those are like my go-tos. But
So do you like the
um,
new gold or the old gold?
I like all gold.
Okay, you
I
don't
like all of
discriminate.
them.
I like
No,
that.
I don't discriminate. But if you were to ask me, like, if I were to choose which gold, honestly, I think the Scarlet and Violet golds were really good because they had a different color.
Yeah.
Like for instance, actually, uh, Paldean Fates. So Ryan also said Paladin Fates is a must have. For me, Paladin Fates, I wouldn't keep sealed. I would actually collect the singles for
Yeah, if
them.
I could buy a master set of Paldanian Fates,
Mm,
I'd probably do that versus holding on to sealed product. Just
yeah,
because like the pull rates weren't that great. I mean, you'll probably get a baby shiny,
right.
but it's definitely a better set in my opinion than Shining Fates.
Yeah.
On those,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
think it has that beat, but I don't think it has Hidden Fates beat. I think,
Mm-mm. No, Hidden Fates. I'd keep
yeah,
sealed. for sure.
even with Paldean Fates having a pretty sick Charizard, like you know, yeah, Paldean Fates is. I think it's good to have a master set. If I could buy one, I probably will. I mean, I'm sure I could. I just want to buy one at a good price. You
I
know,
mean,
maybe
here's
when
proof,
Bubble Mew drops back to $80.
right? Like that's why I'm saying like I would buy the singles rather than sealed, right? Keep anything sealed. Like okay, for instance, when we met at Collecticon,
Yeah,
we opened up a case of Paldean Fates.
we
Remember
did.
booster
Yeah,
bundles? Yeah, like because me like I don't care about the sealed. I'd rather get the chase, open, rip them open, try to get the chase. But I mean, like the smart, intelligent way is to buy the singles, obviously. So, um, like there are certain. That's what I'm saying. There's certain sealed products that I would keep sealed,
yeah.
right?
It's a
But
yeah.
then
Probably
there's
just
certain cards I would just rather get the singles. Like that's what you want to get, you know.
yeah. Just wanted to let you know. I have about a 10-minute warning, so you know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know. Like we've been on here for almost 2 hours,
And
so
that's okay. I
I'm
just
with
want
you.
to give you the heads up. If
Gosh, we
anybody
can
else
even
wants to
go for
jump
a
in, they
lot.
can too.
Yeah. No, no, I didn't realize like how long. Like we might have to go to part two at
Part
some point.
two.
Yeah, to talk about it. But
I told you guys
well,
there'll be a part two.
yeah,
Y'all
right.
thought
You're
I
right.
was trolling.
That's true. No, you're right. You're right. Um,
We gotta get Kuyan in here, man.
I know. Kunyon, yeah,
Too
Kunyon. Darn it,
easy.
Kunyon. Why did you have to work? Um, but yeah, but no, but I think 2026 is just gonna be really interesting. I think I don't know, and I honestly don't know what 2026 like content is gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? Oh, PokeJack just posted something. Paldean Fates ETB right now is 286, and
It
the
is.
PC one is 382.
It is. I mean, PC one is probably the better one to hold on to. Um, it is interesting that a regular one is 286.52, but I mean, yeah, I don't know why that. Well, I guess when you have a card in there that's 500-ish dollars, you know, I
Hmm.
guess that makes sense. But I mean, PC ETBs during the hype were like $500 each, so they've come down a bit.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
so now might be a good time to pick up a PC ETB one if you haven't. Like, and I mean, if I don't know what you plan on talking about next, but I think maybe touching on the fact that the market has cooled down a little bit. What are some things that, hey, maybe I missed this opportunity, to buy before that? Yeah, it's a little more expensive now. Like, do you ever look at anything that way, or is it truly like you said, like once, hey, if I miss that opportunity, I miss that opportunity. Like what are your thoughts there? Because I there's a couple things that I kind of see myself like going back to picking up right now since
Hmm.
it's a little bit
Hmm.
lower.
Hmm.
Um, but like what are your thoughts about that? Are you just kind of like hard on to your strategy? Like you're just,
That's a great question. So like you're saying, like, okay, for instance, like, right, like I bought a bunch of Brilliant Stars,
mhm,
okay, and at the time it was cheap. Now that it's around, what is it, $500 a booster box?
mm.
I think what you're asking is, would I go back and say, okay, that yeah, maybe it goes down to 400. Would I go back and purchase that? Is that what you're kind
Well,
of
I mean,
saying?
just let's take the Paldanian Fates example, which I know
Yeah,
you won't get Paldanian Fates
I won't.
specifically.
Right.
Right, right. But the PC ETB was $500. Now it's down to 382, right?
Hmm.
And that's market. So let's just say maybe you're able to get it for 350.
Hmm.
You know, like 151 PC ETBs were like almost $1,000, but now they're like in the lower 800s. And I could be
Right.
wrong, but that's the last I've seen it.
I get what you're saying.
Like, is there anything that you feel like you would come back to if the price dropped? Because there's a couple
Depends.
that comes to my mind, but curious.
It really depends because I look at it in numbers, percentage,
Mm,
right? Um, Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of goes back again to what we were saying earlier, is that let's say, okay, let's say like that, yeah, that's what I was saying, is like, Brilliant Stars booster box, let's say it's $500. It goes down to 350. Would I
Mm-hmm.
go back and buy that booster box for 350?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably, only because of a Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to say, let's say Destined Rivals booster box, it's 500 and it goes down to 350. Would I buy it? No, I wouldn't. Because I could put 350 into the next set, whatever the set I believe that, you know, could be the next big one, right? Like for me, and that's just my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I would do it for Sword and Shield, because what I explained earlier, right? That time in our life was very significant for the whole entire world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if anybody is going to go back into ripping anything, I think Sword and Shield would probably be like number one for most people.
Yeah, it's just like for us when it's vintage, it's like it's either base set or fossil set.
Right.
Those are the sets that we remember growing
Hmm.
up. I don't
Exactly.
remember opening up Aquapolis. I know it
Yeah.
existed, right? And I know that it's valuable,
Hmm.
but wouldn't be the first. Like if I were to pick, well, yeah, if I were to pick a set to rip open
Hmm.
at my age, would probably be Neo. Anything Neo.
Okay.
Of course,
Exactly.
base set. Yeah, I mean base set. I would definitely rip base set without thinking twice. But I think like if I had a bajillion dollars in my account, whatever that actual value is, I'd
Hmm.
probably buy some Neo boxes and rip them open,
Yeah. Yeah.
or a legendary
And I
collect.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally get it. That makes sense.
I think that, yeah, to your point, that's probably going to be like, okay, what sets are they going to remember? I don't know. Are they going to remember Scarlet and Violet base? Probably because it's a base set, right? But they're going
Hmm.
to want to open Paldea Evolve. They're going to want to
Hmm.
open 151.
Hmm.
They're going to open maybe Paldanian Fates, even though I know you don't necessarily agree with it 1,000%, but that's okay, right? Because it's not Sword and Shield, right? We were
Yeah.
talking the Sword and Shield era. Yeah, I mean, I'd have opened Evolving Skies any day if I had a bajillion dollars. That's what I
Hmm.
would want to get. So, yeah, I mean, I get that. I think for me, stuff I'm looking at right now is again 25th anniversary because I'm looking at things. So, and I think this is what I was trying to say, like in our private chat, right? Like the things that I would invest in probably now that the market has cooled down. And I could be wrong. This is not financial advice, guys. Please don't. This is not me telling you to buy a hundred of these things. Like, please understand that. My what I want to invest in right now are card maybe singles that were at all time highs that are like starting to like drop. Um, and that may not be the same type of investing you want to take, Fada, but that's what I think. Because I think I'm a firm believer of history repeating itself, and
Hmm.
it may not be as high as it ever was, but eventually, 5-10 years from now, that's the card that everybody wanted at some point, and it went up because of that demand. It went up.
Yeah.
So those would be the singles I invest in. I don't really invest in a lot of slabs. I rather buy a good quality copy of the single and grade it myself because I don't really trust anybody else's eyes and ears, right? But I would probably grade things myself. In terms of sealed, I think now I'm getting into that sealed investment space, so I don't know. So I know Evolving Skies would be a great hold, right?
Hmm.
I think it's out of my reach now, unless Father wants to, you know, offer his boy a good price for one of his investment products. But please don't be compelled to do that. But um, I think for me, things that I'm looking at specifically is 25th anniversary, like sealed products, because it took a while for generations to get there. It took 5 years for it to get there,
Hmm.
right? 5-6 years. Actually, plus, right? I think maybe it took a little bit longer than that, and maybe it won't do the same as Generations, right? But at one point, a regular ETB or a regular ETB for Generations is now $2,000 or regular ETB. Now I can't imagine a world in which there's a Pokemon Center ETB, right? That's a whole different market cap now, right? We
Hmm.
don't know what that's going to do, but we know that that's a good solid investment, right? Per se, right?
Yep.
So I would probably invest in more regular ETBs or PC ETBs or UPCs. I think UPCs is a bit out of reach now, but I still think there's a lot of room for it to go up because it has because of just the promos alone in it make the box worth it. You know, so I'm looking at those things. I'm also looking at 151. While it's kind of 151 right now is in a weird place. It's in a solid place, right? Singles are still the single prices are dropping. The graded are still about steady, and the sealed products have dropped about 20%.
Yeah.
Right. So if you missed an opportunity there and you had the extra capital, grab you a PC ETB because you know it's going to be a long term investment. 151 is going to be there. Those are the things that I'm looking at, right?
Hmm.
In terms
Hmm.
of how I'm looking at things. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm not looking at anything else before that because I feel like at this point, like those prices are relatively high. But it's not a bad idea to start looking at Sword and Shield now, Fada.
Yeah.
And you've been saying
Yeah.
it for a really long time, So it definitely has my mind thinking of where things, where I can maybe move around some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, because it depends, like, where you're at and where I'm at is like totally different, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't want any more Sword Shield product. I just don't have room.
yeah,
That's another thing. And I've already like, okay, I'm happy where I'm at. I got to
hmm
where I needed to be, right? So I'm kind of done. It's like kind of looking at other opportunities. That's kind of where I'm at right now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So wait, can you give me 1 second? I know, and you got to go. I know in a second, but let me
yeah.
come back real quick. One
All right,
second.
that's fine. But yeah, Pokejack. I do think that they are definitely hard to find, for sure. Like I think Paldania Fates in general had a very short print run. I don't think it had a very long one, and it didn't get reprinted as much. So I think a good product to buy right now, if you could, would be the Iron Treads, I guess those boxes. I would probably buy those boxes if you could to rip and get the chases. I don't think it's something you should hold, but I do think that those boxes are if you want to try to pull some chases. I think the pull rates in the jumbo, those I call them jumbo boxes, but I guess the big boxes, I feel like pull rates are pretty decent there too. We were talking about Paldanian Fates. And I
Oh,
was saying, I
Paladin
think
Fates.
I think you're way back into Paldanian Fates right now. At this moment, the product is the Great Tusk collection, the ones that were at Sam's. I think they're like 120, 120, 130 now. I mean, you're gonna see that jump up in the coming months. But we were saying that we think that the price is that way is because they were hard to find, and I don't think it had a very long print run.
Mm.
I'd be very surprised if they reprinted Paldanian Fate ETBs, but I don't think that's ruled out. I don't think that's ruled out. Yeah, Bubble Mew is the best Mew card. Period.
In that
Changed my
set, oh,
mind.
for sure, absolutely.
Changed my mind.
Destined Rivals getting harder to come by. Yes and
Yeah.
no. I guess it depends because ancillary products, I think you can still find them. Um, I don't know. It just really depends. Pokénins, hey, that's Nina. That's who. I she pulled the Lugia.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me. It was insane.
Hey, let's go.
definitely check her out. Actually, but you're gonna be away for a while. But
Yeah,
subscribe to her channel
I'm
though.
trying to come back. I'm trying to come back, Fada. I may come back as
Mhm.
as a gaming streamer. I don't know what I'm doing in life yet, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to be a bit more involved in the internet again. It's just been a while, so I got to get my feet wet all over again.
Oh, this is Charlie asked a question like, is there any other chase cards in Paldean Fates other than
Gardevoir,
Bubblebee? Gardevoir, Charizard, right?
Gardevoir, Charizard.
And Iono. Those are the four.
Yeah, I mean, there's also
Yeah, I gotta look at them
man,
now.
yeah, there's so many other ones. I mean, I feel like the special illustration rares in there, even the trainers were actually pretty good.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the trainers are so cheap, but dude, they're so hard to pull. They're not easy to pull.
They're
And
not easy to
SIR
pull.
and Paldanian Fates isn't easy to pull. But the trainer ones are actually pretty good. Penny's a good one to get. Has an
All the
Umbreon,
gold. All I gotta say, all the gold.
all the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Penny is underrated for sure. You
yeah.
have to, yeah. I've been buying up pennies as well. I've been buying up Clive.
Aren't
I
they like a
know.
penny, Fada? That was a
Hmm?
dad joke.
Ah,
Ha ha
ah.
ha ha. Yeah, I know.
I know I'm not supposed to mention the name Clive. I know, but the SIR Clive is nice though.
It
I
is.
have to admit. Just if you look at it as a whole, you have all these different Pokemons and trainers in that. For me, I think it's just underrated. But
Yeah. No, they won't go high. It's just underrated.
mhm,
I don't. Unless something explodes and there's a different market for something else
mhm,
in the future, they might explode. But I mean, I think for now, um, they're going to be relatively easy to find and pick up. They're just not easy to pull.
yeah, yeah, they're not. That's why you don't pull it. You know,
Buy it,
you got to
yeah,
buy it. Yeah,
buy it.
exactly. Definitely buy it.
Except Bubble Mew. Don't buy Bubble Mew. Pull it.
What?
You pull Bubble
What are
Mew.
you talking? No,
No, you
no,
pull Bubble Mew. You pull Bubble Mew. Put in the hard blood, sweat, and tears, and pull Bubble Mew. I've pulled
no.
three. I've pulled three.
That's that's horrible advice.
It's not
That's
financial
horrible.
advice at all.
It's not. It's not. I mean, seriously, it's not easy to pull though.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not very easy. I have to slap myself in the past for not buying 5 of them for $80.
Yeah. But
But
anyways,
but yeah, Fada, I think that might do it for me.
yeah. No, same here. Thanks everyone. Oh wait, hold on. Clive is great. Chibi version of trainers and so many Pokemon cameos there. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But we had a problem with Clive, I think, on CK plays.
Oh, really?
Clive always. Oh yeah. Um, Nina, I think you know what I'm talking about. um, yeah, the Clive was
From
just
the same product, yeah.
it was the him with the hair. He's like combing his hair, I think.
Oh, really?
Is that the one with Clive? Yeah. We or no, he's not combing, he's like styling his hair. It was like it just came up all the time. It was just bad. Anyways, um yeah, I mean the Bubble Mew I knew was coming up and it was just like getting popular.
Fada,
Like
how
I
many
think
copies did you buy?
actually I didn't. I didn't buy any.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't buy
Do you
and
regret
I
it?
no, not really because I think it is an interesting card, but it's not a card that, I don't know. I just don't. It's a beautiful card though. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong, right? I think it's, you have it, that's awesome for you. I'm, happy, but it's not something like I would really care about.
that's fair.
Yeah. Oh, Chris likes that SIR Clive. Okay, good. Yeah. He likes the SIR, but he doesn't like the I think the full art one. So, but yeah, shout out to CK Plays.
Shout out.
Um Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's
I mean,
not.
it's okay. It's okay if hey, I don't like Bubble Mew. I won't hang it over your head or anything. It's okay.
I'm trying to be sensitive because I know how much you love Mew. So no, no, it is a
It's okay.
beautiful
I
card.
definitely won't show up the next time I see you in a shirt that says
From an
"Father doesn't like
investment,
Mew."
that's right. From an investment, like okay, real quick. I know you got to leave, but like
That's okay.
this guy at a show. This is right around September. He's about to buy the PSA 10 bubble Mew. I told him don't do it. Like it's gonna go down,
Mm.
right? And
And
I
it
said
is.
if you're gonna buy it, just buy it when it starts going down. He goes, no, no, I'm gonna get it. So he got it at a high, at the high, I think. But yeah, I think at the time he got it for like maybe at 90% or something like that.
Yeah.
And then October hits, and then bam, that thing went down, dude. I mean, ugh. I try to, I like this vendor. I try to tell him not to get like, I was warning a lot of like vendors, be like, dude, just offload
Just
a lot
wait.
of stuff as much as you can right now because prices are gonna drop in October.
Yeah.
You know, and then it did. I mean, you knew that. I said that in our private Discord.
Yeah.
October's the month. What happened in October? Everything went, poop,
You
right?
know what's interesting? Guess what came out
What?
in October, November?
What?
OP13.
Mm. Mm. I don't think that was the cause
OP13.
though.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it definitely was an effect.
Oh yeah, I would say yeah. I think so. I
So
think there was some partial, but and I said, when Phantasmal Flame comes out, there's going to be enough product, and there still is. People are still buying UPCs. You know, there's still product.
yeah.
I think it'll get better in
Yeah.
time.
I think it has
Yeah.
been getting better release over release. I mean, the way that they're doing it is like wave one, wave two.
Hmm.
I think it's going to get better in general. I think things are getting better. A lot of people won't agree with me. Some people might, but I do think that things are getting better. I do think that gone are the days that you're going to be able to just willy nilly walk into somewhere and buy a booster box. I mean, unless prices really fall, but they're getting really close. If you guys notice, people are selling Phantasmal Flames booster boxes for like 170 now, a 180, 170, 170, 180, and MSRP is just what 159, 160 is. I think.
164, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean things are getting better, and I think I anticipate things will continue to get better. Ascendant of Heroes doesn't count because it's a special release,
Mm.
and I don't know what you know. I don't want to mention. Yeah, and I was gonna say I don't know what crazy thoughts Pokemon was thinking by releasing one product a month. Because there's supposed to be two waves of everything, and it's like when is wave two supposed to come? So it's going to be interesting how Ascended Heroes works, but anything after that, any regular release, we'll probably see more in product availability, and maybe they're doing it on purpose. I don't know. Maybe they're not. I don't know.
Yeah. Pokémon's just mentioned, but Phantasmo just really dropped in general. I think it's fade of small sets. Yeah, I agree. Like Journey
Yeah,
Together. Um, no, and I totally agree. I think, but I think the difference though between Phantasmo and Journey Together was Phantasmo was a Charizard set, right?
yeah,
So a lot of people, I totally agree though. Small sets, it does generally, um, you know, because the hits are much easier,
yeah,
because it's smaller, set. It makes sense. But I was still surprised though with Phantasmo because the Charizard, like, I think people were still buying. I know even for myself, I was still buying.
yeah,
Um, you know, uh, I can't speak for everybody else, but even at shows, I see people still buying, ETBs and booster boxes. So I think I don't know. I think this set in general, I think they printed a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think they printed a lot of ETBs. So regular ETBs might not be the play, but PC ETBs, booster boxes is the way to go with Phantasmal.
Mm-hmm.
If I was like, sure. No, it's playing.
Phantasmal. No.
No,
No,
Phantasmal.
Phantasmal is like the Obsidian Flames.
Yeah, yeah, it
That's
is.
what nothing
It
wrong
is.
with it.
Mm-mm.
Um, but I'm still. I mean, if you look at the Zard right now for Phantasmal Flames, what is it? Is that 400, 500 for that card?
I think it's less than that actually.
Oh, is it less now?
Might be.
Okay. Well, last I thought it was around like that much. So I was like, okay. Still holding up at least. Here, let's see. It's around. I don't know. Let's see. Kind of expensive, dude. You sure about that? I'm
What,
looking at it
me?
right now.
Oh no, I'm sure it's pretty. I think it's starting to go back up.
It
Oh, I
is
have no
around
way.
over 500. Still
Wow.
over 500. Okay. So, I mean, if you think
Okay,
of
what's
it
this
that
for
way, right?
600? Yeah.
592 on TCG, says Charlie. Jeez. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, right? Like,
Investment for the future.
well, no, if you were to
Yeah.
buy a Journey Together booster box, right? How much is that? But the top chase card's not over 500.
It's not. Yeah.
There's some
I mean,
discrepancy
it has
there.
everything to do with product availability. There's probably not much turning together around.
Booster box? No, I don't think so. I mean, I could still find whatchamacallit? Phantasmal booster boxes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's because it's the newest product that's out. But once it stops,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
to the
Yeah,
moon.
but that's the thing though, is that
Pandemic
like for
talks.
Journey Together doesn't have a $500, does it? No.
No. Even the Clefairy is like 250 now, 250, 300.
Okay. Yeah. So like there's some discrepancy.
Phantasmal Flames to the moon, guys.
Oh,
Look,
that's your
all I'm
financial
saying is
advice?
I know what Obsidian Flames has done. You know what
Uh-huh.
Obsidian Flames has done.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, again, maybe a year to 5-year max hold on
Mhm.
Phantasmal for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, everybody's different and it's okay. That's okay. But I do think, just well, see, that's my problem. I can't, like, it can't be in front of me because I will rip it. Like right now, I'm
Yeah.
looking at 8 prismatic booster bundles just laying next to me, and everybody's
Right.
like, "Rip me, please!" It's like, "Rip me." I'm looking at 2 SPCs back there, which of course I have this blurred out because my office is not organized yet, so it is definitely. Just see there's a box there. You can see like I still have stuff. My son took my downstairs office, and I haven't fully settled upstairs yet.
Ah, okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's why, unfortunately, I don't have a cute little setup yet. But
Takes a while. I
but when
get
I
it.
do,
I
you'll
totally
see a
get it.
bunch of Phantasmal Flames, Fada.
Yeah. I love Pokemon saying free the
Free the
cards.
cards. Free the cards. Should we do it, chat? Just let me know. 5
No,
likes, and
no, no.
I'll open it up
Don't do
right
it.
now.
Don't do it. I had to convince you not to open that other box at
This is
Collecticon.
true. No, I listen. I listen to Fada's wisdom. He's very, very. He has a lot of knowledge. But Fada, I want to thank you for bringing me on here today. I had a lot
Yeah.
of fun, and
Yeah.
I
Thanks for coming
obviously
on.
I can go for 3, 4, 5 hours talking about this stuff. Hopefully there's a part 2, but I'm hoping that we hear from some other folks too, and I'm very curious to hear other thoughts that you have so
Absolutely.
far. So I don't know what your overall plan is, but whatever it is, let me know when it comes out, and I'd be more than happy to watch it. And I want to thank the
Absolutely.
chat for interacting here with us today, because without that, I think, I think we'd have to come out with ideas in our head, and who likes to think on a holiday,
I
So
know.
so thank you guys for coming out and supporting Fada and myself, and asking a lot of thought provoking questions as well.
And thanks everyone again. Like Epic Mew guy. Where can we find you? Where
Right
can we
now
see?
I am on X, Epic Mew Guy // McFly. If you just look up Epic Mew Guy, I am on there. I have a phenomenal community called the Epic Mew Club, where we talk about our Lord and Savior Mew. We are not a cult. We are not recruiting for a cult. And if the FBI agent is listening, we are not engaged in any criminal activity. Um, we are all for positive vibes, and just talking about all things Mew, and anything that is not Mew. Clearly, we can talk about Charizards and Rayquazas and Sneaslers and all sorts of kind of everybody's favorite Pokemon. But I do love Mew. Mew will always be S tier for me. Everything else will be A tier and below. And if you like what you see, you like the content, feel free to follow me. If not, thanks for stopping by.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. And yeah, I think 2026 is going to be interesting. I think this is not going to be our last conversation, just because I think maybe we should do it every quarter, because things are going to definitely change for 2026, especially with the sets that are going to be coming out. There are certain things I did not go over, especially the named sets that never got released. There's a reason why for it, which is going to be very interesting.
Because
And
all
yeah,
of the 30th anniversary Fada.
I think a lot of it has to do with the 30th anniversary. Yes, you
Okay,
are
well, yeah,
correct.
we'll talk about that offline,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
maybe.
I yeah. Like I called it with the Mega Charizard, didn't I?
hmm Remember
I
when we
called it.
thought that wasn't real?
Yeah.
And we found out it was real. Yeah,
Yeah, because I called it what, a year before that card came out.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I may know some stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah. We'll
I may
talk.
know some stuff. I don't know. All right. Anyways, some of y'all are confused, like, what are you talking about? But
Is it Mewtwo? Maybe. Might be Mew 3,
uh,
guys. I don't know if you guys
me
remember
too.
those. That
That'd be
fan fic.
funny. That'd be funny. Yeah, a Mew 3. You never know. That's actually not a bad idea. But all right, folks, have a great one, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Peace.